The year is 2024. The world feels unstable. Populist leaders exploit divisions, economic anxieties grip nations, and the truth struggles to survive in the echo chamber of social media. We face challenges, climate change, economic collapse, political polarization, that seem insurmountable. But history has seen this before. The collapse of systems, the rise of populism, and power struggles between leaders. These are recurring themes. To understand the present, we must journey back to ancient Rome. The Roman Republic, once the greatest force of its time, faced its own crisis. A time when the old order crumbled and new powers emerged. At the center of this transformation was a man whose brilliance, discipline, and ruthlessness reshaped Rome forever. This is the story of Julius Caesar, a man who, through sheer force of will, mastery of strategy, and self-discipline, altered the course of history. Gaius Julius Caesar. A name that echoes through history, but what does it truly mean? In ancient Rome, a name was a marker of one's place in the world. Romans had a three-part naming system: the personal praenomen, the clan nomen, and the family cognomen. Each part revealed a piece of one's identity. Gaius, his personal name, symbolized his belonging to the Roman elite. Julius, his genes, represented his family's claim to divine lineage, tracing back to the Trojan hero Aeneas and the goddess Venus. This was no mere coincidence. Caesar's deliberate connection to divinity was part of a larger philosophy, one that blended personal mastery with the belief in destiny. But it wasn't enough to have a noble name. Caesar understood that reputation alone would not elevate him. He applied discipline and focused on self-mastery, constantly working on his oratory, military prowess, and political maneuvering. His name, though powerful, was just the beginning of the empire he would build. Caesar transformed Rome, and his name became synonymous with power, echoing through history as emperors, kaisers, and czars adopted variations of Caesar as their title.
So, Caesar's like, sure, I'm descended from gods, but why stop there? I'll just go ahead and conquer the world too.
Right? Because being part of Venus's bloodline isn't enough. He had to become Rome's greatest general just to feel relevant.
Classic overachiever. He couldn't just coast on divine ancestry like everyone else. Had to throw in military genius and political mastery for good measure.
Yeah, while the other aristocrats were bragging at parties, Caesar's like, I'm over here mastering everything in case the whole god thing isn't enough.
It's the ultimate don't rely on nepotism lesson. Just casually conquer Gaul and rewrite military strategy.
And all while dropping the I'm destined by the gods card whenever he needed a little extra flair.
Can you imagine someone today saying, vote for me, I'm Venus's great-grandkid, and I've got excellent sword skills?
Meanwhile, Caesar's out here mastering everything, and we're just trying to get through our emails.
In Roman society, lineage wasn't just a matter of pride. It was a political tool. The Julii's claim of descent from Venus and Aeneas, Rome's mythical founder, wasn't just family lore. It was a powerful political tool, suggesting they were destined to rule. The Julii family's claim to descent from Aeneas and Venus was more than a myth. It was a strategy. Caesar used his family's divine connection as part of his personal philosophy, projecting an image of fate and inevitability. He viewed himself as a man of destiny, guided by divine forces, yet firmly grounded in rational, disciplined action. Caesar's devotion to Venus went beyond words. After defeating Pompey, he fulfilled a vow by building the Temple of Venus Genetrix, solidifying the link between his victories and divine favor. This belief in divine favor fueled Caesar's self-confidence, but it was his meticulous discipline that allowed him to translate belief into action. Despite his name, Caesar faced early challenges. Sulla's victory forced him into hiding, teaching him that power was earned, not inherited. Whether studying rhetoric, mastering military tactics, or honing his political strategies, Caesar showed an unrelenting dedication to improving himself. Caesar embodied self-mastery. He excelled in oratory, military strategy, and political maneuvering, proving his name was just the starting point. His belief in divine guidance was tempered with a practical understanding of the necessity for hard work, mastery, and calculated decisions. It wasn't enough to claim the gods were on his side. Caesar made sure he had the skills to back it up.
So Caesar's whole strategy was basically, I'm chosen by the gods, but just in case, I'll outwork everyone. Smart move.
Yeah, divine favor's great, but mastering military tactics? That's how you really win wars. Gods don't train legions after all.
He played the destiny card, but he knew better than to leave his fate to Venus. Guy probably had a better work ethic than the gods themselves.
Exactly. He didn't just pray for victory, he made sure he earned it. You know, divine intervention and a 10,000-hour rule.
Caesar didn't just talk about his connection to Venus. He backed it up with some serious self-discipline. Kind of a deadly combo, right?
Yeah, being divinely chosen is nice. But Caesar's real superpower was actually knowing what he was doing.
He was like, I'm destined for greatness. But also, I'll go ahead and master every strategy book while I'm at it.
That's the lesson. Don't just rely on the gods. Also, have a 5-year plan and a backup army.
In his youth, Caesar's audacity knew no bounds. This boldness wasn't mere recklessness. It was a calculated strategy woven into his understanding of power and leadership. While captured by pirates, he acted not as a captive, but as a man in control of his fate. At the age of 25, while sailing to Rhodes for studies, Caesar was captured by Cilician pirates off the coast of Asia Minor. These pirates, known for their raids on Mediterranean shipping, saw Caesar as just another wealthy Roman to ransom. Caesar treated the pirates as if they were his subordinates. He boldly demanded they increase his ransom from 20 to 50 talents, arguing that he was worth far more than their initial assessment. He joked with them, promised to return for revenge, and when freed, he meticulously planned and executed their downfall. After securing his release, Caesar wasted no time in assembling a fleet. He personally led the hunt for his captors, capturing them and reclaiming his ransom. This incident was more than youthful arrogance. It was a display of Caesar's growing philosophy of self-mastery and discipline. He maintained calm and control, even in the face of danger. Caesar didn't simply free himself. He made a statement. He followed through on his promise to crucify the pirates. However, in a gesture that hints at his future leadership style, Caesar spared their lives, having their throats cut before crucifixion. This act served as a chilling demonstration of his power and his leniency. His ability to joke about the situation while calculating his next steps showed the depth of his strategic thinking. By demanding a higher ransom, he projected an image of his own importance, even as a captive. This incident wasn't just about survival. It was about shaping perceptions and solidifying his reputation. When he finally exacted his revenge, it wasn't just an act of retribution. It was a calculated move to solidify his reputation as someone who never failed to deliver on his promises.
So, Caesar gets kidnapped by pirates and basically tells them, You guys clearly don't know how much I'm worth. Raise the price. Bold move.
Right? Imagine being so confident you're like, hey, I'm a premium hostage. And then you actually go back and crucify them. Talk about follow-through.
Yeah, that's next-level negotiation skills. Demanding a higher ransom, then turning around and making sure they regret every coin of it.
He probably thought, I'll just use this kidnapping as a networking opportunity. Pirates clearly weren't ready for a hostage with career goals.
It wasn't just arrogance, though. The guy stayed calm, cracked jokes while planning their doom. Peak multitasking, right?
Absolutely. Caesar's like, sure, I'm your prisoner today, but tomorrow, you'll be decorating crosses. Real long-term thinker.
He didn't just want revenge. He wanted to make sure everyone knew. Cross Caesar and he'll pay you back with interest.
And that's why you don't underestimate a guy who negotiates his own ransom. He's got plans for your future, too.
By the time Caesar rose to power, the Roman Republic was in disarray. The very system designed to prevent tyranny, with its checks and balances, divided power, and complex political maneuvers, was collapsing under its own weight. Centuries of expansion had brought wealth and power to Rome, but also deep social and economic divisions. Caesar recognized that the old ways could no longer hold, and he applied his mastery of strategy to exploit the Republic's weaknesses. He saw the cracks in the foundation of the Republic, the disillusionment of the people, the ambitions of powerful generals, and the paralysis of the Senate, and understood that the time was ripe for change. His conquest of Gaul wasn't just a military campaign. It was a calculated move to gain the support of the people and the loyalty of the legions. He forged a powerful army loyal to him, not the Senate. His victories brought wealth and glory to Rome, making him a popular hero among the people. When he crossed the Rubicon, it was not a rash decision, but the culmination of years of disciplined preparation. He knew it meant civil war, but he also knew that he had the support of his legions and the people. He understood the weight of his actions, but also knew that inaction would mean the end of his ambitions. Caesar's ambition was tempered by his understanding of political realities. He had spent years building his power base, cultivating alliances, and securing the loyalty of the army. Caesar understood that Rome needed strong leadership, and he believed that he was the one to provide it. His vision for Rome transcended the limitations of the Republic, and he was willing to do what was necessary to achieve it.
So, the Roman Republic is falling apart, and Caesar's like, you know what? I can work with this. Classic opportunist.
Exactly. Everyone else is panicking over the Republic crumbling, and Caesar's over here thinking, perfect timing for a career upgrade.
Conquering Gaul wasn't just about land. It was his version of building a resume. Look, Senate, I've got the people and the legions. What have you got? Factional infighting.
Crossing the Rubicon wasn't just a bold move. It was Caesar saying, I've been planning this for years. Now watch me rewrite the rules. No hesitation, all strategy.
He knew that staying still meant losing. So, of course, he'd rather march on Rome than sit through another Senate debate on how to stop him.
Yeah, inaction wasn't really his style. Crossing the Rubicon was just the official start of the Caesar show.
His decision-making wasn't reckless. It was surgical. Years of preparation, and then one decisive cut. If he's going to gamble, he's all in.
And the best part? He knew the Republic was too weak to stop him. They were too busy arguing while he was out there making moves.
Julius Caesar's legacy was built on more than just military conquest. It was forged through discipline, strategic brilliance, and a deep understanding of power. His ability to balance ambition with careful planning allowed him to reshape Rome in ways that few could have imagined. He introduced lasting reforms, including the Julian calendar, which standardized timekeeping and influenced the calendar we use today. His military conquests expanded Rome's territory and influence, and his writings provided invaluable insights into Roman history and culture. But this mastery of power came at a cost. Caesar's ambition and his willingness to challenge the traditional power structures of Rome made him enemies. His populist policies and his military victories brought him the adoration of the people, but also the resentment of the elite. His decision to consolidate power as dictator perpetuo alienated those around him, particularly the senators who had once been his allies. The title of dictator perpetuo, meaning dictator for life, signaled a shift away from the traditional Roman Republic. Many senators, fearing a return to monarchy, saw Caesar's ambition as a threat to their power and the Republic itself. This fear, coupled with personal grievances and political maneuvering, fueled the conspiracy against him. On the Ides of March, 44 BC, Caesar was assassinated, not by enemies from the outside, but by those closest to him. The assassination, orchestrated by a group of senators including Brutus and Cassius, took place in the theater of Pompey, a location laden with irony considering Caesar's rivalry with Pompey. The ultimate irony was that his philosophy of control and self-discipline, which had guided him throughout his life, could not protect him from the betrayal of others. He placed his trust in those he believed were loyal, but that trust was ultimately betrayed. The conspirators believed they were saving the Republic by eliminating Caesar. Instead, their actions triggered a series of civil wars and power struggles that ultimately led to the end of the Republic. Caesar's grandnephew, Octavian, skillfully navigated the chaos, eventually consolidating power and establishing himself as the first Roman emperor, Augustus Caesar. This transition marked a turning point in Roman history, from republic to empire, a legacy that would shape Western civilization for centuries.
So, Caesar spends his whole life mastering power, only to get stabbed by his closest friends. Gotta love the irony.
Right? The guy could control entire legions, but couldn't control a room full of senators with daggers. Classic leadership problem.
He consolidated all that power, and the senators were like, "Great job, Caesar. Now, how about a little backstabbing?"
Caesar's philosophy was all about control and discipline. Too bad he didn't have eyes in the back of his toga.
And even after he's gone, his leadership skills are so legendary that instead of saving the Republic, they just built an empire on his grave.
Yeah, his assassination was supposed to fix the problem, but instead they handed Augustus the blueprints for a permanent monarchy.
Caesar's real legacy? Showing that you can master everything and still get blindsided by the people you thought were on your team.
It's the ultimate you win some, you lose some. Except this time, losing means getting remembered as the guy who reshaped history by dying.
Julius Caesar's story offers profound lessons for today's world. His life was marked by self-discipline, mastery of strategy, and a deep understanding of power. He was a man who understood that leadership requires not just ambition, but careful planning, control over one's emotions, and the ability to make bold decisions at the right moment. As we navigate our own turbulent times, political instability, economic uncertainty, and global crises, Caesar's life reminds us of the importance of strategic thinking and disciplined action. His rise and fall serve as both an inspiration and a warning. Leadership, as Caesar showed, is not about seizing control for its own sake. It's about mastering oneself, understanding the dynamics of power, and knowing when to act. But it also comes with a lesson. Unchecked power is fragile, and betrayal often comes from within. Caesar's story demonstrates the importance of building trust, leading by example, and being decisive in leadership. His ability to connect with his soldiers, share their hardships, and lead from the front earned him their loyalty and respect. Caesar understood that hesitation could be fatal, and he was willing to take bold, calculated risks, such as crossing the Rubicon. However, his ambition and drive for power ultimately led to his downfall. His decision to consolidate power as dictator Perpetuo alienated many of his allies and created enemies who sought to destroy him. Join us on an epic journey through time as we explore the lives and legacies of some of history's most legendary leaders, where we offer a deep dive into the figures who shaped the ancient and classical world. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more historical adventures, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode.